Hey, guys, I'm back. I'm Beth Massey. I'm the product marketing manager for the .NET platform, and I'm with Myra.
Yeah, so I'm Myra Wenzel, and I'm a senior content developer on the .NET team.
Cool.
And I'm here to talk about technical docs.
Okay, so, so documentation, super important, right?
I think so. I'm biased.
Well, I mean, let's face it, whether or not you're getting started or you're a seasoned engineer, you're going to need documentation to, write your systems. And you are basically in charge of what docs are you in charge of? The .NET docs?
Yeah, so cool. Everything .NET, like .NET Core, .NET Framework, we switch things around, so I might get some new areas to work on.
Cool. So great. So let me get your presentation loaded up here. Why don't you get started here?
Okay. So my session will be talking about docs.microsoft.com, and I will cover both in English, and then I'll switch to Portuguese in the end, which is my native language. So I think I'll do like a few minutes in the end. Então, para quem está assistindo do Brasil ou de Portugal, eu vou estar falando sobre docs. Eu vou fazer primeiro a parte da apresentação em inglês e depois eu troco para o português, tá bom? So, here's our agenda for today. We have the journey to open source docs. So I'll talk a quick history on how we got where we are. And then a tour of our site, docs.microsoft.com. I'll talk a little bit of how localization works and some of the controls we have for that, and then how you can get involved with our talks and contribute to our open source projects.
Cool.
All right. So our journey, let's do a quick recap. So our past, we had MSDN and TechNet. We had this segregated audiences between like MSDN, it's for developers, TechNet is for IT pros. And then you had this, I put that black hole there. So it's like you would send feedback and it would just go to this black hole. It's like there was no interaction with the team. You never knew if people would read your comments, or it's like you didn't know what happened to that. So that was the past. And in 2014 is when the open source journey started happening really for real at Microsoft. So that's kind of the beginning. So we had like Satya saying Microsoft loves Linux, and then we had the .NET Foundation created. Roslyn was open source first in Coplex, and then I think the next year they migrated to GitHub. And so we had a Visual
That's what was the snowball effect, basically, that year, right? Because we had April build, we had the Roslyn open source, right? That's when Anders pushed the button.
Visual Studio Code, and then 2006 we had .NET Core release. It's like our multi-platform, development platform. So and all these cool things started to happen at Microsoft, and history goes on. And at the same time, like our docs, like we had this closed source environment for .NET Framework, but then the teams that were doing open source projects like ASP.NET Core and .NET Core, the product teams started to create the documentation. So some were using restructured text and Sphinx, and others were using Markdown and custom.
So there was no standard to any of this. It was all over the place.
Yeah, it was all over the place, and like people were pushing to different sites. It was like kind of a mess.
So we kind of had a lot of projects at that point, a lot of people, and so we needed a process.
Yeah. Okay. And it was like the writing teams, at least for .NET Core, were not so much involved at that point. Like the PMs were kind of driving the documentation at that point. And so we had a new leadership in place, and then we came with the docs vision. So these were kind of our principles that we wanted to go with. So go where the community is. And so people were using GitHub for open source. And so that's where we chose to be to open source our docs. We wanted to use standard formats and tooling. So GitHub used Markdown as the default kind of extension. So we chose to adapt that for the conceptual content, and we used tooling that was available, like the MDoc for to generate Mono API documentation. So it's like trying to reuse and use the standards available and not reinvent the wheel.
So you really went out there and looked at what other people were doing for their open source documentation, and really took a good look at what the community was doing, and then you also adopted those practices and started to reinvent the wheel. What a novel idea. That's awesome.
We also wanted to listen, respond, and act on feedback. So we wanted to have a way for the community to interact with us, and we manage the feedback that was coming in. So I'll go over more on the feedback later. We also wanted to have automation and validation. So when you submit a pull request for us, you'll see builds kicking in and some validations happening. And so, and we're gonna still work on, we wanna improve how our samples are validated, so we can, when there's a new .NET Core version coming, we can test all of our samples against that new version. So
Automatically,
yeah.
Wow,
So
that's cool.
Yeah, we still have more to do on that sense.
Wait, so are you telling me then, basically what you're saying is that we write samples, put them in the repos, and then when we have a new version of a build of something, like .NET Core or something, it would automatically rerun the tests on all of those samples across the whole thing?
That's our goal.
The idea.
That's our goal. So we're going, we already have some validation for the current ones, for a couple of folders, but we still don't have a test for all of our snippets. So that's...
Wait, so that means samples will always be up to date?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. That's really cool. So when are we going to get that?
It's coming. So
okay, all right. No promises.
Yeah,
no promises.
We have already some CIs running, but we need to expand our tests.
That's awesome.
So.
That's cool.
And then we also wanted friendly readable URLs.
Who needs that? We don't need friendly readable URLs, right?
Yeah, the MSDN, you have those weird characters that.
Article IDs,
IDs, yeah. Now
asset
you
numbers.
Can try to guess it. It's gonna be an English name, but you can try to guess it, and you can kind of navigate back and forth.
That's much better. Cool.
All right, so Docs is launched. So in 2006, when we launched .NET Core, we also launched docs.microsoft.com. Our first pilot was EMS, which is the Enterprise Mobility Suite, and then .NET Core was the next pilot. And then things started to progress. So we launched the .NET API browser.
That thing is cool, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to show it later.
Cool.
And then the interactive tutorials that I think is one of the best things we have there. And then in 2018, we changed the feedback from Livefire, which was our previous mechanism, to GitHub issues. So now everything becomes an issue for us. And then the .NET API reference last month was finally redirected from MSDN, so that was a big deal. And just this week, we migrated all of the localized API reference for .NET.
Sweet. Okay.
So
cool.
Everything's coming
together.
Yes.
Everything is coming open.
Yeah. There are a few things left to do on migration, but yeah, it's we have a super onboarded engineering team doing awesome stuff as well. It's we have lots of things to do, but they keep working with us and getting improved things.
Can I ask you a question? So just about the old system. I mean, everybody, I don't know if all of you have ever tried to migrate a system forward, right? An old system, like MSDN, how old are we talking here, these docs? They've been we talking 20 years old?
Yeah, 15 to 20
so
years.
I can only imagine the system was built 20 years ago, right? And trying to get all of that content, out and in the open.
Yeah.
How long has it's taken?
It's still going.
It's still going on, and you started in 2014.
Yeah, 2015.
Wow. And so how, can you give me an idea of how many pages are we talking about here?
Oh, it's millions.
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 Okay.
Just the API reference is 200,000 pages per version. Wow. So it's
and then localized versions.
Yeah, and then
too.
you add
Plus.
So it's millions of pages.
Wow.
And different formats, so it's trying to.
Okay.
So we find the community and us, we find issues and we try to
So before things were open, how did you even keep up with updating these things then? Like, I guess it was really hard, right? So this is like, it was kind of like you had to do this.
Yeah, I remember once, like lots of years ago, that we were like locked from pushing API reference updates for 6 months.
Oh my God. So our docs were getting pretty crappy.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
okay. So we had to do
So now
this.
it's like daily publishing, so it's quite
Oh
a
my God.
different world.
That's amazing. Okay, cool.
All right. And then I mentioned some of the tooling. So people can use some of the open source tools that we use to generate docs on their own projects as well, which is one question I got on Twitter for this session. So DocFX is a great tool that you can use it. We use it in our pipeline, and you can get it from that website. And so it generates a website based on your source content or DLLs, and based on the / comments.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then your markdown, so you can have some conceptual and some API references.
So all you
as
folks
well.
out there, writing APIs, please document them. And look, you don't even have to write the documentation.
Yeah,
You
so
can
it's
just
like-
have something write it for you.
It's automated.
There you go.
So that's the goal.
Write your comments, though, people.
Yeah. So our case is a little bit different. So like ASP.NET Core, for example, it's totally generated from source. .NET is like kind of this different child, just because we have like .NET Core and .NET for example, we have all these different implementations that we have to make it
I
combine.
see. Like
and make
.NET
it
Framework
one. Yeah.
and .NET Core
Yeah.
and Mono and
Yeah.
all the different frameworks and that sort
all
of
the
thing.
flavors,
All
and
the
so we
fla-
have
okay.
to combine them
Okay.
and create one source for them.
I see.
And then we note where there are differences in the APIs. But
So do the developers, when they're writing these APIs, do they write the you're talking / comments
Yeah.
here. So they had,
For
did you have to train them to actually write good comments?
yeah, so that's another thing that I want to publish. We have a contributor guide, and it's something I want to publish out there is like how to write good API docs.
Yeah, because typically, I mean, I wrote code for a very long
Yeah.
time, and I wasn't very good at writing sentences.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and there's
you know?
I can see things that don't follow kind of our style. So
Okay,
it's like
so you go through and kind of like
Yeah,
make
so-
changes to the source code itself?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so
That's
for
cool.
ML.NET, ASP.NET Core, they are all auto-generated based
wow.
on
That's
the
cool.
source.
Very cool. Awesome.
Okay, and then MDoc is our reflection tool for APIs, so that's another one. That we
Developers and writing comments isn't an ideal combination.
Yeah,
Yes, that's
so-
exactly what I was thinking.
use. Yeah, but it's like, I think
That's why we have
can
this
help.
person
Yeah,
here.
I think we can help. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can help. We should review. All right, so I'll give a quick tour now of our site. So let me switch you. And I should have closed some of the apps. All right, so I have here, let's see if it's coming up. I thought again. So
Let's see. So,
Oh, duplicate.
hold
let's
on.
try.
Let's see. Yeah, duplicate. There you go. Hey, you got it. All right, you got it.
All right, so here's the home page for docs. So now we have one home for technical docs, right? And so it's for everyone. It's for developers, for IT professionals, and you choose what product you want to work on. So I will go to our home, .NET,
Cool.
and then you have everything .NET here, .NET Guide, .NET Core. So .NET Guide is where we put like our cross-platform, so like things that apply to all implementations, like exceptions, event handling, that kind of thing, goes there.
Okay.
So once you're here, then you're in an article. You'll have these controls up on top. So you have feedback, then you have edit, share, so you can share on social media. You have dark mode, that people love it.
Ooh, I didn't even know that was there. That's
Yeah.
cool. I don't like dark mode personally, but
Oh yeah,
because
and let me see
I
if
have
can
bad eyes.
Find an article that has more than one language, but I don't know, like maybe in .NET Guide we'll have something for. Let's see. For events maybe. All right. Yeah. So this one you can switch from C# to VB. So it's something that sometimes people. are
Oh,
not,
okay. You can pick
are
your
not-
primary
yeah,
language.
you
Cool.
can pick your primary language. Another thing is that you can download a PDF. So that will download and open in a new tab.
Oh,
That
so like
will-
when I go on the airplane, I can
Yeah.
read all about it.
And it will download the entire TOC that you're on. So in this case, where you were just on events here, it will download all the topics that were in that table of contents for you.
Fancy. I love it.
Okay, so feedback. So we said feedback was a big thing.
Right.
We have like maybe 4 ways for you to give feedback. So you can give product feedback. So this will take you to the appropriate site depending on the product that you're on. Then content feedback. So that's where if you want to give it, it will go and become a GitHub issue for us. Then there is the site feedback, which is you're like, it's not about the content itself, but maybe you don't like how things like the site layout is,
I
or
see.
you want to give suggestions about how docs.
Contact the webmaster.
Yeah, like
Okay.
the docs
Yeah.
on Microsoft.com engineering team and things like that. So it's not the content.
Not related
itself.
to the words on the
And
page.
then it's
Okay.
like, oh, I don't want to be contacted. I don't care if you respond to me or not. Then you can say, is this page helpful or not? And then you can give comments anonymously here. So you'll need a GitHub account to use this one, and then you can give feedback on this one anonymously. So that's an option.
So I like the edit button up at the top there.
Yes.
That's cool. So
Yeah.
what does that do? Are you going to show that to us later?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
go when like how you can contribute.
Okay,
Or I'll go
cool.
over and show a few things.
Cool. Looks like we got a one little comment there. Sweet. Love the download option. I do too. That's very
Yeah.
fancy. Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay, so I talk about the different types of feedback, and then
Go in presenter mode. I think you want to full screen it.
oh,
There you
okay.
go. You don't need to see 2 slides at a time there.
So let's see. How do I do that?
I think you just go there.
No.
You
Oh,
go.
I think.
Just window. Yeah, just do a Windows P again. There you go. Right? Project. Yeah, Windows P.
Okay. So
There
let's
you go.
do this again.
There. Almost. We almost have it.
Sorry, folks.
This is harder than it looks, people.
Well, and I'm new at presenting too, so it's like.
So I think we
Alright.
go. I don't know, Javier. What do you think?
Okay.
Desktop.
Just basically go back to your desktop.
Duplicate. Yeah.
Duplicate. Is it?
Yeah, it is
Hey.
duplicate. So let's try again.
There we go.
Okay, yeah, I got lost somehow. All right, we also built some awesome interactive experiences.
The obligatory. Where's that button in PowerPoint again moment in any presentation? Yes,
Sorry.
that is exactly what happened.
So some of the things that we've added. So for .NET, we have try .NET powering some of our content. So
Now that's the cool thing, right? You can actually write C# code in the browser, right?
Yeah.
As you go through this thing. So you can, like, without installing anything at all,
yes,
somebody can go and actually write C#
yeah, so let
and
me
learn.
show. It's like,
That's cool.
it's like it keeps trying to.
Yeah. You gotta, I think it's Windows P, right?
Let's try again. Yeah, it keeps
Yeah.
switching from duplicate to extend.
Hey, all right, there we
All
go.
right.
So numbers, let's check that out.
All right, so you come here, you have the .NET editor, and you can copy here, paste it, run on the browser. You can learn C# like that. It's like, oh, I don't want 6, I want 10.
That's cool.
And then it will give you the result. And we built some basic lessons, and we want to expand on that.
So this is a really good teaching tool,
Yeah.
like even for kids, actually, right?
Yeah.
They don't have to install anything. They can have any browser whatsoever. It works,
Yeah.
and that's awesome.
And when you feel ready, we have some lessons about how you can do the same on Visual Studio Code as
Cool.
well. Yeah, and so the other thing we did is to do the same in some APIs, and we got green light to add it to more APIs. So here, daytime is one that we added this interactive experience. And so you can click and run and see how that API works and how the examples work.
Cool.
So you get that.
Yeah, so it leads you through a path, right? You know, it's like step 1, 2, 3, and like a tutorial style.
So the quick starts are like that.
Okay.
And then this is the API reference.
Okay, that's the API. Got it.
So
All right.
you have like in the API, you have that experience as well of trying the code. So we're gonna start adding more of that to other like popular APIs. Then you can try the code here and. It's like, what is this working? What does it do? I'm not understanding. So you can kind of
play with it before you start bringing it into your PC. Cool.
And then we have some of the. Let's go back. All right, we have the full one. So Azure Cloud Shell. Also, you can experiment on Azure CLI docs. So you can try commands. You don't have to install anything as well. And then REST try it as well. You can try some of the REST APIs as well. So it's
that's
like,
awesome. So try before you buy.
Try before you buy. Yeah. We also have some ways that you can be notified of updates. So one way would be you can do a search. So let's do a search here in CLI. So everything CLI under .NET, and then you can click here for the RSS feed, and then you will start following that feed. So that's one option. Oh, okay, it's trying to download. I'm not gonna download. The other option that I found out about recently is flowmicrosoft.com.
Oh.
And they have a template for you to add. So let's see. Okay, all right. So they have a template for docs where you can send me an email when documentation is updated. So you can create a flow to receive updates when there's changes to
so like if you're looking at, you're watching something, you can have it email you.
Yeah, so I can watch,
that's kind of cool.
things. So you can enter what URLs you're interested in. Like I really want to know when these CLI topics are updated or like something they're interested in, you can put it here and it will start notifying you of when the content is updated.
That's really cool. I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, I found out about recently. So
sweet.
That was.
I haven't played with Flow. I guess I should.
Okay, so you learned something.
Yeah, I totally learned something. Look at that.
All right. The other thing we created is Docs Archive. So on MSDN and TechNet, like we had like one set of documentation per version. So it's like we had .NET Framework 1.1 and .NET Framework 2.0, etc. And that would compete. So like sometimes you would search and land on like an old version of the topic. And frankly, like they're not used anymore. Like we have now a set that is like kind of comprehensive of versions. We try to be kind of version agnostic.
Okay.
So so if you're trying to find some of the old documentation, they're all being migrated to this docs.microsoft.com previous version. So let's switch to that. Okay, so you can see that the list of products here is growing, and so we have .NET here. So we have
OAC, if I wanted an older version of .NET Framework, okay, I gotcha.
We might port like Silverlight content here, things like that.
Gotcha.
So this is coming as well. So it's a huge, so it's been a huge effort to migrate all of these also out of MSDN.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a huge amount of docs over the years. That makes sense. Okay.
The localized side of docs.microsoft.com. So I'll show it really quickly, but I'll go more in depth when I'm talking in Portuguese. So here is when you have like a page in Portuguese or French, whatever language you're looking at. You can enable to see what was the original sentence that was translated, or if you don't like that, the hover, the pop-up, you can disable.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you're saying I could learn Portuguese too at the same time I'm learning F#?
You could.
How fantastic.
You can also like read in English. So it's like you like sometimes when you're trying to find a topic, it will automatically bring it to whatever language your computer and browser is set up. So it's like, I don't want to read it. So you can read what was the source for that translation. The one thing to kind of be conscious about is that this is the English version that was used to translate, but it takes a couple of weeks to get things translated, right? And to like it goes to the translator and comes back. So if you really want the latest, then you should switch to English. So on the bottom, you can switch the language here, or I just type NUS because I'm used to it and I know like
the localized
the
code,
locales,
locale code,
yeah. So sometimes like the English version could be a little bit ahead.
So if you're, does it pick up like the language of your OS or your browser and automatically put you? Okay, gotcha.
So
cool.
Whatever you have set up, but at least you have a quick way to read what was the source if it's like you want to see it, and if you want to like for example here you can see that F# has a space here, so we'll edit that later, but you can see that the source was correctly, it doesn't have extra spaces in there, so you can see like whether it's like a source issue or a translation issue.
Cool. So can people make pull requests in their native languages then? So
yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So they can either do pull requests against the English, like if they find something that is wrong, or they can do and help us improve the quality of the translation.
That's
as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So how to get involved, like the fun part.
Yes.
So every contribution matters. You found the typo, it matters to us. It's important. We're improving the quality of our content. So this is like a snapshot from the last month of the .NET Docs repo, which is our conceptual docs. We've reached like 806 contributors so far, and last month we had like 300 merge pull requests. So
wow, busy.
Yeah, we get a lot of pull requests. So we had like 75 authors, considering that our team has like 5 writers.
Yeah.
For .NET Core specifically, and Framework and C#, like the managed languages, that's huge, right? We get a lot of improvements from other people on the team as well. Like, so we have PMs contributing, and we have the community contributing. So
that's amazing.
That's
real
awesome.
Quick question. Answer this question. What's the URL to try C# in the browser? I think it's try.net, isn't it?
Yeah, you have
try.net.
Yeah, so you have try.net. It's like you can have the what powers our topic. So that's
okay. That's like just the unchromed version of it. So and that is the editor basically.
Yes, the editor. And then I think we have an AKS link, but I'm not like reminding right now. But it's like C.NET. So you can go to .NET, and you will be on the home page. So quick starts.
Quick starts. Okay, go to the home page of the docs. Click on quick starts, guys, and there you gotta have a guided quick start. So you hello world numbers, and that's what she's showing before. So.
Yes. So
cool.
that's it. And I'll have it on the slide, so you can download the slide as well.
Cool.
And we love our community. So we, as like with .NET Foundation, we have this partnership of like people that are really engaged in our repos, open source projects. We send a little swag, so like people that are like making a huge contribution, and so Docs is also being recognized as the same as a product. So like these are 2 of our contributors that got some of the swag. And Alfred is from Brazil.
I mean, actually, you know what? I just want to make a comment here. Like I personally like don't think I'm at the level.
That's me.
I know. Hey, awesome, dude! Woo! Yeah. So I personally don't think I'm capable of submitting code pull requests, say, into the .NET Core framework, right?
Yeah.
However, I'm pretty sure I could submit some pull requests to documentation, right? As a developer that uses the core, right? So people need to understand, like, you know, it's like every contribution is every contribution is important, right? Even if you don't think it's important, it is important. And making your first pull request can be very scary sometimes. Yeah. And so starting with documentation or testing is a really great way to get started with contributing to open source.
Exactly. Yeah. So we encourage people that want to like dive into this open source world, that like if they want to get the experience, Docs is a great first step. So and also like contributions to Docs for people that are interested in being MVPs or continuing to be MVPs, like our program for most valuable professionals, right? Docs contributions are also counted as part of that. So
yeah, guys. So like our advocates are called MVPs here. They're our best customer advocates, and they help us in many different ways. And this is definitely one of them that's definitely recognized. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
We have a contributor guide, so if you want to get started and want to learn like how it works, we have it published on Docs as well. So we use everything in Docs. And so let's get to like do a pull request.
Yeah, show me how this works.
Okay, so let me I found one that had a typo here. So I found this one that had a double T the here. So I just click edit, and it takes you right to the source on GitHub. So the UI for me will look a little bit different because I'm admin, so I can show another one where I have like that you can do the same, and that will look like what it looks for you. So I found another topic. So you do the change, so you can just edit right here on the browser if it's a simple fix that you found. And I was like, remove double D. Actually, right? And then I'll create a new branch. So that's the part that looks a little bit different.
So you have to create a new branch and submit a pull request if you're outside?
For contributors, it's not even going to show that option.
Yeah.
So I'll show how it looks like in a second. And
right.
So I'll propose the file change, and then it will show me the UI to open the actual pull request on GitHub. If you're fixing an issue, and you can see the list of issues here on the second tab. So if you're fixing an issue, you can put the number here, and so like it shows some of the ones that were filed.
So you hashtag the number.
You hashtag the number so that when it
connects it.
Yeah, it connects the two, and then when you merge it, it automatically closes that.
Right.
So
cool.
I'll just create the pull request. So that's one. I found, let's see if I have it here. Let me grab it from. I found another typo here, and in a repo that I don't have the permissions, so that it looks.
Oh, so it'll look like what we would see.
Yeah. So this one, so you click the pencil as well for edit, so it's kind of consistent with what we have, and it also had a double the. Okay, and then here's where I said the
there you go.
UI is a little bit different when you have right permissions versus not. So remove double the, and then, but then the rest it's all the same.
Okay.
So it creates a fork for you. And a new branch, and then you can create a pull request.
Cool. And then you wait for someone to moderate that and accept it.
Yeah, so they will moderate and review hopefully soon.
So you said you get a lot of pull requests. How long typically does it take to review the pull request and get it in?
We try to review it fast, but it's like there's a balance that we try to do between incoming issues, incoming pull requests, and the work that we gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to we're still learning and trying to come up with what ways work best.
Okay, so be patient.
Yeah, be patient. Like we will, but usually fast. Like within a day.
Wow.
It's usually like the business day, right? It's usually like for simple fixes, and then like some more maybe.
More involved.
More involved, or maybe like a new topic or something might take a few more days.
Because you have to test it or whatever.
Sometimes we drop the ball and we apologize, but we hopefully we try to stay on top, especially of pull requests, and then for issues as well, we triage it. We triage individually. I also do triage meetings to go over some of the issues.
Oh, okay.
So we try to give a response. But if you don't, ping us, and we'll try to answer So that's kind of like
That's the flow.
the flow for like simple fixes. So I was like, you found a typo, found something wrong, and you just want to show, or like to make the change right away. Now there are sometimes people want to contribute, and the fix is a little bit more complex. Like it involves maybe more files, or maybe it's like a sample in our .NET samples repository, and so you might want to use Visual Studio Code. So
Right. Okay.
so
Like an editor.
Yeah.
Okay.
A real editor. So we have it, and we recommend it also because we're building extensions for Visual Studio Code. So we have the docs authoring pack for that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So you have some tools that can help with some of the specialized markdown syntaxes that we have for
Yeah, the
docs.
little like TOC things that you need to put in, and the little
Yeah, or
like markers
notes,
or like
yeah,
notes.
the notes
Okay.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
So you can get it with
Oh,
the
cool.
authoring pack. So I can show it here. I prepare one for the Entity Framework docs, and we're trying to push it to use it more HTTPS links instead of HTTP to have secure links. So I prepare, like I have a regular expression here that will change some of the Microsoft links to HTTPS. So I ran the search before. I'll change all of them.
Here's a good question. Is it better to submit an issue before attempting to tackle resolving it? Or do you hope some are just the instant pull requests for some simple changes like the
For
double
simple changes, just go ahead and submit a pull request. It's easier for us.
Okay.
And it's like less work as well
Right.
for you. For if it's gonna be more involved, and
Then maybe an issue is,
Yeah.
hey, here's a heads up. I want to
Yeah,
totally
it's
change
like,
this article.
yeah, I want to
Okay.
change that. Do you think it's worth it? Because we also don't want to lose your time and say no, like
Right.
this is not what we would want to do, or where we want to take this article. So talk to us about.
All right, so Skull Crusher for Life. That was yours. That's an awesome handle name. So, use your judgment.
All right, so I'll say change links to HTTPS, and you can see here like that it just changed.
Okay.
Just
So that's
added
the
yes. So
that's the
I'll
diff.
commit
Okay.
and push it.
So can you use the docs authoring tools in VS Code with the docs generated by DocFX? So as a solution for myself internally?
That's a good question. I don't
Good
know if,
question.
yeah, I would have to check. You can use the the authoring pack with any markdown. It's just I don't know if DocFX recognize those notes. It might. So I'll double check and I'll see.
Hit
what
Myra
I
up
find.
on Twitter later.
Yeah. Hit me up and I'll find it out. So, okay. So then we have ESP.NET entity. So here is my branch waiting for a pull request. So I'll just do that. You can put more details if you want, and then maybe Diego will review it later, so you can see like what's the changes.
Cool.
And we try not like to do like if it's something that it's like a bulk change, we try to kind of restrict the number of files, because otherwise it takes us a long time as well to review. If you do like
I see.
I don't know, 1,000 files.
Oh, I gotcha. Like you're
so,
changing the
yeah.
whole table of contents.
Unless you're using some kind of script or a regular expression like that is like easy to kind of know what you're doing, then otherwise it makes it harder. All right. So that was like complex fixes. And
Cool.
then there are multiple ways to contribute. Like you can make fixes, updates, you can help us create content, and then you can provide feedback on the content as well as our issues. So it's like some of our community members, they go and comment on the issues that are created even before we had a time to look at them.
Cool.
So
So contribution is really also creating an issue too, right?
Yeah,
You know, it doesn't necessarily mean a PR, right?
So providing feedback is like create an issue and we'll take a look. Yeah, so
it's very
like,
valuable.
It's very valuable. And then PR review. Some people will go and review our own work and make it better as well. So it's great.
That's awesome.
And then if you want to help, we have on the .NET Docs repos, we have up for grabs labels. So are things that we consider that the community could help us out. And then on our own repo, we created a project for community help. So you have like tasks divided in kind of
like a Kanban board here, right?
Yeah, so we have like maintenance kind of work, and then content updates kind of work, and then new content, and then you can see what.
This looks super organized.
We're trying.
No, like seriously.
Yeah, and then
awesome.
people also like we organize our sprints as well, all in the public. So you can see like our current sprint here, like what's to do, what's in progress, what was done, and who was like the person working on. So we even put like people's like from the community's faces, so that like
you recognize them. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so we can see who's doing what.
Well, they're part of your team too, right?
Yeah. Of course. And so you can also reach out to our team on Twitter or email or whatever, like find us. And you can, like if you're interested in jumping on open source and you're not sure what to do, we have like very easy things that you can start with. And then we can build and progress from there.
Here's a good question. Can we help with migration and updating of docs that are not yet on, I'm assuming, the new system, like
for
F#?
the F# core, I think they're working on it. So
okay.
I don't think, let's do the migration, and then I think they can help out clean up and stuff.
So the migration is from like an internal system, so it's kind of hard for people to do that piece. But once it's out,
and I think we have tools to help automate that. So it's like much easier to just wait, and then but it's coming. I know it's coming because all
right, dude, so just
I don't know
be patient, it's coming, and then you can help update that.
So Philip would be the person that would know more about where that's at.
I'll go bug Philip.
Okay, so any questions before I switch to Portuguese?
Yeah, guys, so Myra's going to give kind of a brief recap in Portuguese. So if you speak English like me and you have some questions, let's go ahead and throw them up right now. And then if you speak Portuguese, you can ask her in Portuguese. And she will read the questions because I will not be any help whatsoever at that point. So, all right, it looks like everybody says thanks a lot. So why don't you go for it? Go.
All right, okay. Então eu não vou fazer a apresentação toda, então eu vou pular algumas partes e vou falar um pouco da parte de localização no Docs e mostrar um pouquinho. Então deixa eu voltar lá para meu browser. E se eu falar misturado inglês e português, me desculpa, mas eu já moro muito tempo aqui. Então às vezes é inevitável. Então vocês têm aqui a homepage do Docs com os mesmos produtos que tem a versão em inglês. Ai, abriu em inglês, peraí. Eu tenho e aí você pode navegar. E aí o que eu estava falando antes, então os controles ficam aqui em cima, então você pode comentar e mandar comentários sobre o conteúdo e a tradução, e pode entrar comentários sobre o produto. Então nesse caso seria em inglês, porque vai pro time aqui em Redmond. Também pode dar comentários do site ou então dar feedback anônimo. Então aqui, se você colocar comentários sobre conteúdo, vai pro GitHub. Aqui você pode ver a tradução, então se você se desabilitar não tem mais os pop-ups, e isso é meio chato, assim, de ficar lendo com o negócio aparecendo em cima, mas se você quiser ver como é que era a sentença original em inglês, você pode ficar vendo assim, se você quiser ajudar a arrumar a tradução e melhorar um pouco a qualidade. O conteúdo localizado, ele tem dois tipos, Então, a gente prioriza o conteúdo mais importante, ele é traduzido por pessoas, e aí tem alguns conteúdos, alguns artigos que vão ser traduzidos por máquina. Então, a qualidade de certos artigos da tradução vai ser pior, obviamente, quando é traduzido por máquina, mas aí, conforme a comunidade for submetendo traduções, vai melhorando a qualidade da machine translation, né, da tradução por máquina. Eu separei aqui um artigo que a gente poderia editar, onde eu achei um problema na tradução, onde F# tá com espaço aqui, não deveria, então dá para ver que em inglês tá correto aqui, não tem esse espaço extra. Então, nós vamos criar um pull request para o conteúdo em português. Então, aqui, clica em editar, aqui no lapisinho, e aí eu vou procurar pelos espaços. Então, aqui, tem vários, então eu vou fazer alguns. E eu vou passar esse feedback para o time de localização também, para ver se eles conseguem arrumar esse problema de forma global, porque não sei por que está adicionando esses espaços. Vamos ter quase lá. E quando você criar, você pode tanto falar em inglês ou português, que a pessoa que vai estar revisando, tem um time de localização que vai estar revisando, e eles falam tanto a língua mãe quanto inglês, então tanto faz. So I'll remove extra spaces and create a new branch. Então tá, então aqui tá o pull request, vou submeter e aí alguém, então é um repo é um repositório para o conteúdo em português, e aí você pode ver aqui que eles revisam e classificam o tipo de problema, se é linguística, se é um problema na fonte. Então, quando tiver problemas com um artigo, que eles vão identificar se o problema é na tradução ou se o problema também existe em inglês. Então, se por exemplo, o código geralmente é um problema que vai estar no conteúdo em inglês. Então, vocês podem submeter o pull request direto para o docs e não para a tradução. Mas também, se vocês não souberem, também não tem problema, porque o time analisa e aí eles criam um pull request para nós se o problema está na fonte em inglês e não na tradução. E aí eu queria mostrar também aqui. Então, eu falei um pouco da jornada que a gente teve de criar os docs e de lançar o docs da Microsoft, da Conf, do MSDN e do TechNet. Um pouco da visão que a gente tinha para o docs de ir onde a comunidade estava. Então, a gente adotou o GitHub para colocar os arquivos, né, o conteúdo. A gente adotou o Markdown como um formato padrão que já era estabelecido na indústria. A gente queria uma forma de poder receber os comentários e reagir a eles, e não só aquela caixa preta que a gente tinha antes, né? Tipo, onde os comentários iam e você não sabia se ia ser endereçado ou não. Todos os pull requests, eles estão em automação e validação, então para quem nunca submeteu e tem medo de quebrar alguma coisa, tem medo de fazer alguma coisa errada, não se preocupem, que tem automação, a gente vai validar, a gente vai revisar, então pode submeter e a gente vai fornecer o feedback. E a gente queria URLs amigáveis, então O conteúdo, as URLs vão ser em inglês, então, mas você pode tentar meio que adivinhar. Então, por exemplo, se você está navegando no Docs, nas APIs, and I just I remember I forgot to show the API browser, so some.
Oh yeah, that one's cool. Show that one.
Mas se você está navegando nas APIs e, por exemplo, você quer ir para System String, você pode. Você meio que pode tentar adivinhar o nome da classe. And I'll just switch to English just a little bit because I forgot to talk about the API browser before. So that's another cool thing. So we launched in 2017, and you can choose like what is your target, or so if you're looking at .NET Core 2.1, you can see like what APIs are part of that set, and you can search for. So you want like span of T, for example. So you can search for it, and we'll take you. And right now, because we just migrated the content from MSDN to Docs, and we did the redirection, Google is still indexing the content. So I think the API browser at this moment is kind of like your best place to search for things. So you can search for string, and it will show you like the classes and methods. Or you can go back to the API browser if you're not finding, so it's like a string format. So that's how it works. Então, a gente acabou de lançar as APIs localizadas, então se você for aqui, eu vou trocar para português. Eu vou para Daytime. Então, aqui tem o conteúdo todo localizado também. E aqui também tem a experiência interativa de executar no browser. Então, pode rodar o código aqui na versão em português também. I didn't understand the last question. So, a gente lançou o Docs, então, em 2016. Em 2017, a gente lançou esse API Browser para você fazer a busca de APIs. Os tutoriais interativos usando o Try.net e os Quick Starts. Então, deixa eu mostrar aqui em C#. Então, tem aqui os guias de início rápido, que são os Quick Starts. Então, você pode entrar aqui e seguir as lições, e também é localizada. Então, você pode usar aqui Hello World e... Não, say Hello Brazil. E aí a gente adotou, os comentários mudaram do Livefire, que era a nossa antiga plataforma para comentários, para o GitHub Issues. Essa semana a gente tá trocando, a gente tá redirecionando as APIs da MSN do .NET para as versões localizadas. Então, se ainda não aconteceu, vai acontecer em breve o switch, e aí vocês vão começar a receber só as URLs no Docs. Existem algumas ferramentas que vocês podem usar para gerar a documentação. Então, se vocês quiserem usar para gerar documentação interna no produto de vocês, ou se quiserem gerar documentação externa, tem o DocFX. Tem um link ali que depois vocês vão ter acesso às apresentações. E o MDoc é a ferramenta que a gente usa, que reflete em cima dos assemblies ou dos pacotes NuGet para gerar a documentação das APIs para a gente. Então, algumas partes que geram o site do Docs da Microsoft.com são software livre e algumas são proprietárias internas que a gente não tem como distribuir. Já fiz o tour, então já comentei sobre os tipos de comentários, os guias interativos, também além do Quick Start, dos guias de início rápido que tem para o C#, tem também Azure Cloud Shell e também as APIs de REST, que vocês também podem testar, é bem legal o Azure Cloud Shell. Se quiser ser notificado de atualizações, você pode usar o RSS feed das pesquisas, então quando você faz uma busca no Docs, você consegue buscar, ou tem essa ferramenta do Flow, e você pode procurar pelo template do Docs, que te manda e-mail ele checa diariamente ou na frequência que você determinar se o documento foi atualizado e te manda um e-mail quando isso acontece. Então, se tem algum artigo que te interessa muito saber quando é atualizado, você pode criar esse flow. A gente criou o arquivo Docs, então pode navegar para docs.microsoft.com. Agora, estou acostumada a falar em inglês. docs.microsoft.com/pt-br previous versions. Então, é difícil de falar. It's hard to say the URL in Portuguese. Ok, então, assim, a gente agradece muito a contribuição de todos. Aqui é um pouquinho do que aconteceu no último mês, no nosso repositório do conteúdo em inglês, que é onde o meu time trabalha. E aqui tem alguns membros da comunidade que receberam alguns presentes, algumas lembrancinhas nossas por ter participado por ter contribuído bastante para o nosso repositório. O Alfred é do Brasil, por exemplo, então não precisa ser só gente dos Estados Unidos. E se quiser saber mais como contribuir, tá aí o site docs.microsoft.com/contribute. Então, eu já mostrei como fazer as edições rápidas no GitHub. Para quem quiser fazer edições mais complexas, usa o Visual Studio Code com o Docs Authoring Pack, que é uma extensão, e tem várias formas de contribuir. Então, a gente espera aí o teu pull request e quem quiser ajudar no conteúdo em inglês, a gente usa alguns rótulos no nosso repositório e tem um projeto também para quem quiser ajudar. A gente teve alguns brasileiros que ajudaram e pode entrar em contato com o nosso time se quiser achar alguma coisa também, se quiser encontrar, mas se estiver navegando e achar alguma coisa estranha, que nem aquele F# que eu achei, é só criar um pull request e a gente aprecia muito. Então, é isso aí.
Awesome.
Alguma pergunta? Is there any?
I didn't see any Portuguese questions. There was a question that scrolled by, though, that maybe we want to answer in English. It was in English. There was a question, and I had a question, too, about the same thing. How do you keep track of links inside of the docs? Like, if you want to link to another doc in your pull request, is there a special way to link it, or you just do the full... I'm assuming it's not the full URL.
That's something that we don't use the full link. We kind of use without the HTTP as Docs Microsoft, because then it will also work for our offline books.
Right, okay.
Because then it's like for Visual Studio, there are some products that we have.
So is it a relative link?
Yeah,
then?
So it's kind of a site relative.
It's site relative? Okay.
Site relative link. And then if it's something that exists inside the repo, then we use a true relative link.
Okay.
Because then the build can validate.
Is that in the documentation for submissions and contribution guide?
If it's not, we should put it. And then API links have a special format that we definitely have documentation on how to create those.
So it looks like we got some more questions here in English. I really love how Microsoft gives the ability to easily talk to the core MS team in live sessions that explain the tech. Do you see any that in any other enterprises? I don't know. Maybe this is a question to the audience. It really makes my day to see Myra, the one who helped me a lot to understand the tech here, live on my laptop. Wish you an easy life as you always make mine, Myra. Wow. That sounds like a love letter there.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. You guys have been awesome.
So cool to have the Brazilian community here.
Yeah, I actually saw a few people saying like great job on both languages. Very inclusive.
I didn't know how I would do that. So I kind of could fumble.
You went perfect in my eyes. That
great.
was awesome. So, any more questions out there, guys? In such a huge documentation, how do you know what links where? Okay, so I think we just addressed that. Do you have any way to keep track of preserving incoming links? A lot of forums, including Microsoft discussions, answer problems that provide links to MS Docs that over time expire.
Yeah, so we have redirections in place, so hopefully people are applying them so that you'll never get a dead link.
Okay, so there's a redirection service in MSDN that goes, okay.
Yeah, and even like on the repo, you can set up the redirection right there. So
okay, awesome,
it's a
great.
file. So.
Awesome. All right, guys. Myra, I just want to say thank you so much. All your great work, and I think that was a fantastic session. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys. All right, so we'll be right back.